guys, it's Jouelzy and I am back. It's actually like 9 o'clock in the morning. I'm recording a video before I catch my flight. Look at me being productive, girl. Always enjoy a good opportunity to shade the Zodiac. So this is going to be a video where we're just going to sip along. It's 9 o'clock in the morning, so I'm drinking my hot lemon water. Yes, we're going to sip along and we're going to discuss the Zodiacs that I believe are the signs of the characters of Insecure. I already mentioned in my review of the finale that I believe that Molly is a Taurus. Somebody tweeted me that they were offended because Tauruses aren't hoes. And I don't believe Molly is a Taurus because I think she's a hoe. And actually, being a hoe per se doesn't necessarily have anything to do with your sun sign. Only a hoe when everybody knows. And so technically, Molly isn't really a hoe. She's only a hoe because it's a TV show. And we know, for the sake of it being a TV show, we know who she's dropping it low and spreading it wide for. But in the context of the world of Insecure, does everybody else know, outside of like Issa and like her line sisters, does everybody else know how promiscuous Molly is? Molly's comfort with her sexuality has a lot more to do with the fact that she is a resident of Los Angeles, more so than her astrological sign. When you live in a major city where casual sex and sexuality in general aren't as stigmatized, then people just tend to be a lot more, I don't want to say frivolous because I'm not trying to judge it, but people tend to be a lot more free with their choice of partners. I say Molly is a Taurus more because of her work ethic, her relationship and friendship with Issa, and then how she goes about trying to attach herself to men. Tauruses are very hard workers when it comes to the one thing that they are passionate about. Obviously, Molly is really, really good at work, right? I think that kind of scene with Dada does remind me of like my Taurus line sister. And that like trying to like, you know, talk it out and understand where you're coming from and like, or give you like a moment of understanding. I don't know that she was trying to necessarily understand Dada specifically, but she was trying to give Dada some understanding. Tauruses are very big on understanding. Molly isn't trying to necessarily attach herself via emotionally falling in love or opening herself up or her vulnerability up with men. She tries to attach herself to men in the kind of ideal of just sharing space and time. It's like a very idyllic look at what a relationship means, and I think that's a pretty Tauran quality. Now, I will say that I understand why some people think that Molly is a water sign because of her showing up in Negroes' houses and being super emotional. Like some people have said of Pisces, the way you show your emotions is more to do with your moon sign than it is to do with your sun sign. So I will say that I think Molly, to be specific, is a Taurus with like a Pisces moon. I'll give it to her because that's showing up at a Negro house drunk who you've already cussed out, like that double backing behavior. You know what I mean? That's a little bit water sign level crazy there, like letting it all hang out. So she's letting it all hang out without still being emotionally vulnerable. She's not really gushy. It's just kind of like she's a person who's all about ideals and much more of the visual representation of a relationship versus the real kind of deeply emotional connections. So that's why I'm going with like having. She definitely has a strong earth sign in there, and we're gonna go with Pisces moon. Issa. Okay, so Issa in real life is a Capricorn. I feel like her character that she's playing is definitely written in her vein, but I also get why people say that they believe she is a Scorpio, the character on the show, because Issa's character reminds me of one of my closest friends, and she definitely is a Scorpio. But I think the one thing that rules Issa out from being a Scorpio is how she handled cheating on Lawrence with Daniel. One, she cheated, but she actually enjoyed the sex, even though she regretted the act. And I feel like a Scorpio who actually enjoyed the sex, even if they felt bad about the act, would have handled that situation with Lawrence finding out, or even the potential of Lawrence finding out. They would have been much more suave with it. They would have checked Daniel way sooner. I don't think a Scorpio would have ignored Daniel's text like that. I don't perceive Capricorns as being super smooth in dealing with complicated emotional situations when they have actually got to the point where they are emotionally open, like truly, honestly in love, because they are so business and closed off that when you finally get them open, it's like, and they get caught, like they actually get caught. That one time you catch a Capricorn, you know, Daniel is definitely an air sign. I'm gonna go with Aquarius or Gemini on this one. I'm ruling out Aquarius because one, he showed up to her job, which you have to have a lot of confidence to be that level of creep, like a lot of belief in your right and your sense of self. I'm going with Gemini because after they had sex, even though he knew she had a boyfriend, so he should have assumed the way that was going to play out afterwards, he still was so caught up in his sense of self that he felt like he had the right to show up, make shit publicly hot for Issa, and confront her in a public space. Like, that's like, you were the person that how many weeks ago was like, you don't want to be with her, and then all of a sudden you apologize, you get the pussy, and you think it's gonna be something? Like, what kind of manipulation? Who manipulates? Gemini. Come on, you know, if that wasn't Aquarius and his feelings was hurt, he'd be at home playing video games. He's not gonna show up and make shit hot like that. Lawrence is absolutely hands down a water sign. A water sign is Pisces, Cancer, or Scorpio. Not a Scorpio, because he doesn't proceed as kind of an emotionally insular person. He also, up until he got mad, just didn't seem like that great of a fuck either. So, you know, it didn't look like he was catering to like Issa's sexual whims. That leaves Cancer and Pisces. I rule out him being a Pisces off of the strength of him being in a relationship with Issa, because Pisces tend to be very into the feminine form. Pisces men appreciate the womanly figure, and not to say that Issa doesn't have a womanly figure, but I don't think she has a very feminine aura or demeanor about her. And Pisces tend to either be with very classically beautiful women or women who really embody kind of a femininity about themselves or a sense of like womanness about themselves. Mahogany Curls is a Virgo, but her husband's a Pisces, and I think she's classically beautiful and that kind of very like feminine, soft. I say this because my mother is obsessed with Mahogany Curls, and I believe it's because her two daughters are not necessarily soft like feminine types. I mean, I'm a woman, don't get me wrong, but I don't have a super feminine aura about me. Not that Issa's character would be like super classically feminine, but there would be kind of a stronger comfort with her womanhood and how she carries, you know, just like a representation of womanliness. Like a Pisces would be with like a Solange type, this kind of very comfort and centeredness in your body and how you perceive your feminine form and exuding that. And I don't feel like Issa she's a little awkward. So that leaves Cancer, which I definitely think fits the R&B nigga type, the turn up. That also means that he is not going to get over the heartbreak or be very forgiving easily at all. That does not bode well for them getting back together. Cancer man is great before he fall in love. You gotta be the one the Cancer man fall in love with, because once he fall in love and get his feelings hurt, he don't know how to trust nobody else after. Like, he be having like, they just, oh girl. And if you go with generic compatibility of the astrology, Cancers and Capricorns are very compatible in a sort of symbiotic way, kind of, but they're like the yin and the yang. They're exact opposites. Cancers don't necessarily know how to acknowledge their role in situations going down. They can get very fatalistic when they get their feelings hurt. Am I missing anybody? I don't know enough about Jared to guess his sign. He could be anything. I mean, I guess I would say he's not a water sign because he wasn't super hurt by Molly. He kind of like, you know, he went back for it, and then, you know, maybe that would rule out him being an earth sign. Maybe he's probably a fire sign. I could see him being like a doofy ass Aries. Aries men, you girl, I'm an Aries, but Aries men just be, we all got this like weird childish quality about us. That's everybody, I think. Oh, Tasha. I also don't know enough about Tasha to like guess. If I'm gonna make a broad guess, I would say Tasha's an Aquarius because she reminds me of an Aquarian homegirl that I have. And then like super friendly, that's super nice, know how to speak to you, make you feel real good, don't mean none of it in the long run though, because if her and Lawrence end up in a relationship together, oh, she's quickly gonna be over it, like with the quickness. Like, nigga, you ain't buy me no Red Lobster. I mean, she's not really that hood. How do you feel about my astrological approximations? Do you agree? Feel free to chime in the comments down below and let me know what your guesstimations are. And thanks for watching. Deuces!